Make way for the birthday girl. Yes. So this is my beautiful client, Shan, and she's come in for a ponytail for her 50th birthday. She actually came in pre-shampooed and silk pressed out because she was a little short on time. So we had to get her going and as quickly as possible. Initially, she just told me to do whatever I wanted to do, and I was here for it, super excited. So I decided to give her 2 braids, and I was thinking about doing a braided hump at the top. I wasn't sure. I was just trying to see where the ponytail took me. So I'm starting out with the 2 braids on the side. As you can see, I'm parting out my sections now, and then we'll go ahead and get those braided on up. Okay, so I got her sections parted out as best as I can. And if you notice, she has a little bit of thinning around her perimeter in the front. So I'm going to gently braid down, starting at that sideburn piece. And I'm not gripping very hard. It's just very gentle, but I used an extremely textured piece of hair to help with the grip, because the silkier the hair, the more of a slip I would have. And so I didn't want to slip. I really wanted that grip. And if you saw there, I am spraying hairspray so that I can have a nice clean braid. All right, so same thing on this side. I'm just going to start in that sideburn, and she has a little bitty piece there that I'm going to swoop some hair over just to cover that little spot there right next to the braid. But not too much tension, just a gentle braid. And again, I use that more textured hair as my add-in piece. So this is something I do whenever I do a ponytail. I use my Cecily's Organics lemonade avocado oil. It is amazing. I will put that right in the middle because that hair is going to be up. I usually do not put it near the hairline because you don't want that oily, but I will put it right there in the middle. So here I'm using a little bit of my hair lacquer to go in and shape up her baby hairs. I'm not giving her baby hairs per se. I'm giving her grown woman hair. And I'm using the lacquer, which is in my Amazon store. It's by Essations, and feel free, the link is down in the description under my products. So you'll find that there. But yeah, I love that, so that I don't have to use paper or anything. After I do the baby hairs, they just stay where I put them. I don't have to tie it down after. I shape it how I want it to look. I hit it with that dryer, and I hold my hand over it until it's dry, and then that's it. No paper necessary. When I'm done with the hairstyle, I am done. Also, I did get a question at the class I taught last month. Why do I keep my spritz in smaller bottles? It's because of my travel schedule and not wanting to carry those huge bottles or even check baggage if I don't have to. So here I was deciding if I wanted to do the hump or not, and so I kind of played around with it to see, do I want to do a little braided piece? I knew I still needed to mold that back up first, but I just wanted to kind of see what it would look like. And when I finished, I thought, man, this will be cute. They did straighten her hair, and they got it. A friend of mine who did her makeup, shout out to Toya, she straightened her hair for me before she came in. So it was actually her sister. So she got it bone straight, and yeah, I wanted to make sure it would be full enough and it would look nice. And so you can see here I'm kind of playing around with it just to see if it's going to be cute. And I know at this point, I already know that it's going to be something that I'm going to do. So, yep, let's go. Now here we're beginning our mold. If you notice, and I am still using the lacquer, but if you notice, I keep readjusting her head because this part is so imperative to the perfect mold. The client's hair cannot be wobbly or moved because you need the level of pressure that you need to use in order for that hair. You see how shiny and smooth that is? We haven't sprayed any oil sheen or anything on it. The lacquer itself is very shiny. It's very glossy. And then, when you have a fresh, clean head that's washed and everything, all those things work together. Everything works together for the good, okay, of this ponytail. So, but she was giving me a little trouble. She's, kind of moving with me, and I have to adjust her. So just don't think it's me being rude. That's just something I do. I just move their head back into place where I want it, and it usually works out pretty good at the end. So a little trick is for here, in order not to get that bump and that lump in that back, you want the client to hold their head up in its natural position. So I try to get them to put their chin up, as far as possible without being at an awkward angle. And that will help with that bump that kind of shows up there. Everything that I used today to create this look can be found in my Amazon store, even down to my blow dryer. So I feel really good about my mold, and so I'm going to take my band out and go ahead and merge those parts that kind of mush together right by the band. I'm just going to spray it a little bit and comb it out to make it smooth, and then I'm going to reapply the band, and that is the perfect ponytail for you right there. A tricky part here is getting the ponytail in the same position you had it in when you started. You can even see I have a little lump there because I wasn't quite able to get it exactly where I had it. That's an easy fix. You just spray it down a little bit in that area, and then you comb it very gently, almost surface. You don't dig in, but you just comb it on the surface and then hit it with a dryer, and it'd be perfectly fine. It should not create those lumps near your band or your rubber band if you're not digging in deep. If you start digging in deep, it will create that lump at the top, and then you have to take your band out and start over, and you don't want to do that. So here you see I'm going in, and I'm using a little bit of the Got To Be Glued spray, and I like to finish my ponytails with that just to kind of seal everything in. Usually I don't fix with it. I usually fix with the lacquer, but I guess I was just in a different place that day. But I am using the Gotta Be to go in and fix. And so I think I'm just doing double duty, and you see I'm fixing her head again because that moving is rough. Not her, I'm just saying anybody. When they're moving and they're kind of going along with your hand, it just makes your job harder because you're trying to adjust the pressure and to anticipate their movement, and then you're not able to push as much as needed to make that thing lay smooth and flat. So Yes, I always tell my clients, give me some resistance, and then I'll tell them, give me a little more resistance. And those are the terms that I use to make sure they hold their hair nice and tight for me. Okay, I cut that other part out, but I initially tried the braid again, and she had quite a few flyaways, so I decided to go ahead and essentially mold the top like I did the back, and then do the braid so that it would contain all of those flyaways for me. And then you see now I'm going in and kind of lifting, and that's giving me the look that I want. And I'll spray it as I go and just kind of lift, spray, blow dry, and repeat. And so yeah, I believe it looks exactly how I want it to look. And I'll go in and put a couple of hairpins in to kind of to get it more exact, but I think it looks great. So I like to go in before I put the extensions in and spray any oil sheen that I want to spray, because I don't like the hair to be weighed down with oils. I like for it to have a chance to be moved, to have all the movement in the world, to be bouncy and have body. And I also want to have the control over how much oil I use. I probably will still spray a little something, but it'll be at a further distance. It won't be as close. It won't be, as much as when I do the ponytail and set the pony. So that's just a little tip for you. For this part, if you notice, I went in with the needle and thread and just kind of sewed like 3 stitches at the tip of that ponytail. And then the rest of the way, I wrap it nice and tight. And I just keep going, keep wrapping until I get to the very base. And then I add 1 more stitch, and that's a ponytail. Okay, so here's the final stitch. I actually prefer this method over the glue method because the glue method actually ruins the hair. It's very difficult to reuse hair that has been glued. It's just not clean. I don't love it. So the hairpins will work, or I like to sew it because I want that ponytail to last until I want them to be able to swing from a chandelier if they want to, and it still be intact. Okay, so I did a small band. I wrapped that first, and then I'm going to do a braided band right on top of that one, and that's going to serve for our base. So for my bands, I typically don't pin them. I just wrap them and tuck it under, and it usually stays. I think for hers, though, because I did a double band, that I think I'm going to pin hers and make sure that it does not move. Okay, so I'm going in with a Hollywood wave of sorts. I'm just going to curl each piece and actually pin it and let it set for a bit. Now, I know my flaw here, I really could have left the iron on each piece longer, but I had somebody waiting for me out there in the waiting area, and I knew that if I just let her set while I shampooed, that it would set nicely, and it did. It set nicely, but you see how loose the curl fell, and it actually is supposed to be a little more tight, but I believe overall the style turned out really nice. I just in a better, having more time, I would have definitely left the heat on it longer instead of just curling it and letting it drop. So I would have left it on another maybe 60 seconds or so. Yep. All right, so I'm back from the shampoo bowl, and now we're ready for the takedown. She has a nice wave going here, and I'm really trying to decide what I want to do. If I just want to do the pull method, or if I want to comb it a little bit. I think I eventually, I decided to comb it because I did want it to have a fuller look. So I go in, pull each one, and to break that bond, and then comb it a little bit, and then separate it. All right, now finally at the end, a little bit of oil sheen, and she is all set. I'm going to lift it in places so she can have that height, and I'm spraying it as I go. Also because I know it needs to last for several more hours, so she can get to her party. So I'm just gonna spray, and send her on her way.